like 10, it's a maximum amount, but I'm making them better on funding accounts. As I said prior, I go with Lilu trading. So, and they allow maximum 10 accounts. So now I discover they have like a weekly accounts, it's called, because you can, right now they have promotion like 5 days of evaluation trading basically. And then as Rusha point, you start to draw money every single week. 4 days of trading, and you draw the money right then. So they had promotion ended yesterday, so I purchased 3 more accounts, weekly accounts, and they give like a trade with 8 contracts. It's
yeah, I remember you were talking about them before. Yeah.
No, yeah, but this is different. Okay, and so, but I'm not gonna talk about them. I'm just saying that ICT, what he's done for me is open my eyes first on the like how algorithm. Open my eyes first on the second, and second, give me a confidence that I can live on it, so I can do my trader career as the primary source of funds for my goals in farming, in energy, in all my projects. What I'm looking before for investors, I don't need investors anymore. I can fund my own operations, and then this operation will bring back the investors' money. So this has never been in my experience before, that I can really be dependent on God and what ICT give it to us. Thank you. I'm out.
I like that. What are you doing with this? I don't know how else to say what ICT is giving us. To me, it's a gift. I see all of the studying, all of the hard work, actually seeing ways in which it pays off, understanding where and how the market moves. I mean, I'm not the only ICT trader up here to say I've been studying this a long time, and I feel pretty good about what I'm seeing in the market. I mean, I see a lot of monsters up here. I think as a whole, I mean, I'd say this is a good touch base, a good checkpoint. I mean, even this year, if you've been on this ride this year, you've been doing it for at least 6 months. I mean, Hoppy's got like a PO3 thing that came out in January. I mean, I know some folks, Hitman and Joe G. I think Daredevil was around there. Evolved Spirals. I know there's just some folks that have been around for months with some of these even newer concepts. I go back to DR. DR rocked my world as a trader. Hoppy rocked my world as a trader. ICT, like, what are we doing with what we're learning from ICT? I mean, I'll answer short and sweet. I know when not to trade. I mean, short and sweet. I know when not to trade. And the market can be very good to you. Can be. And you got to know how to stay dialed in with really only trying to, I mean, you need to be a professional loser, quite frankly. I mean, I think tight stop losses, and you're right or you're wrong. I mean, my 2 cents is that, like, I can be wrong a lot with a really tight stop. And when I'm right, it makes up for all of those wrong tight stops. And for me personally, having a system, what are we learning? I mean, I just want to answer the question, and I ask the question. I mean, I'm learning when not to trade, and I'm learning how to be extremely accurate and precise. There's a lot of precision in what is taught. Whether you're taking a quarterly fib on a FEG, whether you're measuring a range via quarterly or a power of 3 or both. I use a power of 3, which is 333 and 666 on a quarterly fib, which is 25, 50, 75. Man, you guys want to talk about some precision. It's it's crazy when you key it up right, especially on high time frames. It's easy. It's the open, the high, the low, the close, one of the two, or the wick, right? I mean, 100 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 minute, 1,000 minutes. Look at your chart on 1,000-minute time frame. Keep that 1-to-1 ratio. See how big the PD arrays are. Not, you can do a week. I'm just telling you, look at it from 1 minute, 10 minute, 100 minute, and 1,000 minutes. And why I say 1,000 minutes is because you're going to see some pretty large inefficiencies and imbalances within market structure as it's printing. You're going to get long legs of price runs. You're going to get a really good, accurate depiction of what the structure is, where the bearish breakers are, where the bearish order blocks are, conversely, where the bullish breakers are, where the bullish order blocks are within an up and down structure. Because it goes up, it goes down. So, I mean, I think fibs are really good. Fibs are amazing. Understanding the sweet spot within fibs, within structure and market structure, has, for me personally, unlocked the markets. And that's my 2 cents. I think fibs do quite a bit. We got Wolf's Tribe here. NZT's got his hands up. We got Jimmy Shot Caller, buddy. I haven't seen you around here in a minute. It's nice seeing you here, buddy. I got Smart Money Ducats. Wouldn't mind hearing from you guys. Snoop's here. Lord Lack. I mean, the invite's here if you guys want to come up. I like it being a round table, a conversation. I mean, obviously, I got a lot of 2 cents, but it ain't about me. It's about you. XOXONL. She's been on before. The Feminine Perspective. Pretty please. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, I don't know if this is true or not, but I came across something yesterday and I started laying it on the charts. Has ICC ever said that January through April we're looking at it yearly, right? January through April is accumulation, April through May is manipulation, and then May through November is distribution.
Trader Day says something similar when we're looking at the fractal nature of both a week and then a month. Naturally, we do the same with a year. So I like it. I like where you're headed.
Okay. So I did that. I got on my charts, clean chart, and I started breaking it down. And he always says time is fractal, right?
Yeah.
And I broke it down some more, all the way down to days. So if you lay it down like that, and you start breaking it down, and you start seeing where it's accumulation, manipulation, distribution in different ways, and it all paints the bigger picture, correct?
No doubt. I mean, I couldn't agree more. That's entirely how I recommend that folks trade, for sure.
Then on today's shotgun, and he has always said this, right? And I've said this before, that I always feel like he speaks in code, right?
Yeah, well, it's advanced transmissions, right? Like there's some levels.
But he said today, nothing changes when it comes to time of day. These things occur at specific times, certain days of the week,
yes,
certain weeks of the month,
yes,
certain months of the year.
Yes.
It fucking clicked for me. Because I laid this out yesterday, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" He always says it's in our face. All you have to do is lay it on the chart. And so when I did that, I never understood what he would say. That I never understood what he meant by that until I came across that information yesterday. And
so tell me more about this information yesterday. Help whoever's listening understand. Explain it to them. Help the audience understand what's really clicked for you? And don't mind me asking, what's your name?
Norma.
Norma, my name's Kit. It's nice to meet you.
Now, I'm not saying that I got it right. I'm not saying. But
No, it's good that you talk about it, though. I think personally, I mean.
Okay. So if you count the days within the first months, right, January through April, well, it's really through the end of March, because all of April is manipulation, right?
So the first 90 days of roughly 270, right?
Right. So you have about 21 days if you because he says power of 3.
Yeah, the first 90 of 270.
So it's about 21 days.
Okay.
Okay. So then if you break that down some more, you get about, if you divide that by 3, you get 2.333. So I said, okay, well, let me do every 2 days. So in my opinion, accumulation, manipulation, and distribution happens every 2 days. And if you lay it out on the chart and you follow to every 2 days how the candles look, and accumulation, manipulation, and distribution, it all follows, like, it just paints a picture that makes perfect sense.
How can I help you with that? And I mean this in a really good, constructive way for you and anyone else. And this goes back to what I even posted earlier, the Trader Day. Really break down the clock, like 6, 9, midnight, 3, 6, 9, noon, 3, 6. So if you want to see OHLC, why midnight matters is because you had 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock that led up to midnight. Okay. And within that, that's either the Asian session, which is notoriously known for accumulation within the daily cycle, right? So when you're looking at, again, the Asian range, or this accumulative consolidation within the day, marking off your 6 o'clock, 1800 hours, that time matters. Your 9 p.m. time matters. Your midnight time price matters. You'll find these are 3-hour candles intraday. But when we're talking about 90-minute cycles, when we're talking about imbalances, when we're talking about high time frame liquidity points or PD arrays, commonly previous days highs and previous days lows are my favorite, right? When you can find those, I mean, remembering Monday, you're still tracking towards Friday's PD arrays, right? Tuesday kind of resets the week, right? Tuesday resets the week. Thursday's a reversal, right? That might be news.
So yes, I've heard about the smaller time frame PD arrays, and yes, the 60 in the night, the 6 hours and the 90-minute. Yes, and I'm not disputing that. But my thing is, like, I know that, right? I knew that. I've heard of it. I have it on some of my charts. And yes, sometimes it's easy to see that where the manipulation is and where the distribution is headed. But on certain days, like seek and destroy days, right?
Yeah.
If you know that on the higher daily time frame, we're on accumulation or manipulation and it's not really going anywhere, it's easier for you to see it in the bigger picture and say, you know what, today is just one of those days. Let me just not partake in the market.
Yeah, very true. I mean, I'd say, as ICT traders, understanding time and knowing when not to trade are probably two of the things that are highly refined skill sets that typically.
You have to look at the bigger time frames because they tell you the story, right? And so, to me, when I was looking at this yesterday, I was like, I'm crazy. Like, this, it can't be this easy. Like, it cannot be this easy. But when he said that today, this morning, it happens on certain days of the week. If you know what 2 days of the week are your distribution days, those are your high probability days to trade.
Yeah, and I can just tell you my 2 favorite days to trade typically are Wednesday and Thursday, right? Tuesdays I find tricky. Mondays are a continuation on Friday, and then sometimes I'm finding Fridays retracing or finding Tuesday's PD arrays. So it's very cyclical. It's very cyclical, and whatever your weekly expansion is, typically you see that reversal on a Thursday. So if you're going up, you're going to see it reverse on a Thursday.
Okay, so if my theory is correct, Thursday and Friday were distribution days. And what did they do? What happened Thursday and Friday? It actually moved after being in a range, because before those days, we were in manipulation and accumulation stages.
Yeah, I mean, FOMC was a nice catalyst too, right? I mean, that was a big deal for sure. I think that was one of the filters.
It wasn't. Yesterday was Friday. Sorry, Wednesday and Thursday. Friday starts a new cycle of accumulation. So Friday and Monday will be considered the accumulation days.
Nice. I like it. I mean, we did just.
I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly.
No, I like it. Hey, I mean, Norma, jump in my DMs. I'd love to talk to you more about it. I've got a pretty strong understanding of time myself. Intraday cycles are a really, really big deal. The more you can define and refine your x-axis as you are here, the better and the more likely you are to understand your range and where you're going. So kudos to you. It sounds like you're onto something. I like it. I mean, for real. Time's a big deal.
I'm gonna tweet my chart, and then
yeah,
see if it makes sense to you guys.
Yeah, tweet your chart. Jump in my DMs. Like I said, I'll happily. I've got some omega time cycles. I've got some pretty sophisticated understandings of time myself. So if you've got any questions, I trade time.
Like, I'm still learning, right? Like, I'm not as advanced as you.
Well,
I was even scared to even say it, because I was like, I don't know. I was just scared.
No, that's good. It's good that you talk about it. I don't think anyone's more advanced than anyone else. Some people have more experience. I mean, I humbly stand before you as just someone that's been doing it for a long time. That's it. But I'm here as a student just like you. So there's no one, that's always good. We're always trying to learn together. There's always more to learn, right? And as much as you learn, as clear as it gets, there's still days in which it's fuzzy. So I'd say that's a real true thing too, right?
Okay, so I just tweeted it and I tagged you on it. Nice. You can look at it, and then I could explain it to you if you can pull it up.
Okay, yeah. Hold up.
And for all the ones who are following me, guys, I am a housewife tweeter, so I don't really tweet.
That's cool. I mean, that's cool.
Traded, but
I'm looking for what you tweeted.
I just tweeted
okay,
it.
That's fine. Let me just find it. Let me see. I gotta find you. Here we go.
Norma, I want to add something to your findings quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Go on to core content. I can't remember what month. Look up the weekly templates, because what you're saying is correct for the correct weekly template. So the template change. So if you can't remember what month it's under, Kit might remember, but if you go look up the weekly templates.
Core content month 10 for indexes.
10 for indexes. There you go. You'll be able to pull a screenshot off of the weekly templates, and then you'll be able to figure it out from there a lot more accurately.
Okay, I'll do that.
I just retweeted what you put out there. So I saw this last night and started laying out the charts this way. Right? Spring is coming to the markets very soon. This is from ICT himself, right? The year, if viewed as a single range, we are in the accumulation phase still. Don't blow your equity before the salad days return. January to April is the yearly accumulation. April to May is the manipulation. And May to November is the distribution. December resets the yearly range, power of 3. Now go lose sleep over it in your charts.
Yes. So then if you look at my next tweet, it's my actual charts and the way I laid it out.
Okay. Your next tweet. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution.
That pink shaded area is January, February, and March. And you can see if we start right with accumulation, manipulation, distribution, it'll make sense. It went up, and then we went down during manipulation, and then we eventually went back up during distribution. So then so every 2 days is what I'm saying. It starts with accumulation, manipulation, distribution, so on and so forth. So if you follow the 2 day, to me it makes sense that every 2 days there's either accumulation, manipulation, or distribution.
Well, I mean, it is fractal. It is a fractal component within time. So if you reverse engineer the fractal nature of it, again, I focus on it from an hourly chart intraday. So the more you can step back from it and look at it from an IPDA level, and I mean, you're looking at it on a 2 day chart, I think that's great. I mean, if that's what you're seeing, I can tell you, looking at a 2 day chart, similar to a 2 day chart, it's not a 2 day chart, but go type up 1,000 minutes and look at it. One candle is 1,000 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And I say that because 100 minutes is good as well, especially if you're counting candles, but also if you want to see very obvious PD arrays, right? Like you can see really big stretched out fair value gaps in the discount, right? So if you were to take the high and the low, for example, of the latest range on ES, so I would just take 3 days highs and 3 days lows. I'd go back to Tuesday's low and I'd go up to Friday's high and I'd make that premium and discount, right? So 50% is going to be around 41.70. And I would define that as a 3 day range. And those 3 previous days highs and 3 previous days lows are going to be potential magnets towards liquidity, or for price to recoup or go back and take liquidity from those specific points. So typically we're in a 3 day range, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, just something to kind of think about. When you're in Friday, you want to be kind of thinking about Tuesday. When you're in Monday, you want to be thinking about Friday. And then where was last Tuesday? What's the continuation on Monday from Friday? And then look at Tuesdays kind of resetting the week. And then Wednesday's typically a continuation. Thursday reverses. And then Friday's going to either consolidate or continue and expand. That's typically how I look at it.
I was trying to break it down even lower into like the smaller time frames, hourly, minutes, or whatever. But
yeah. Well, no, I can tell you from the hourly. That's what I've done already in telling you that the 3 a.m. candle, the 6 a.m. candle, you know, even the midnight price is a big deal. And depending on what you're tracking, what you're trading, watching, paying attention to the AMD. If you put a vertical line on these times that I'm telling you, you'll be able to see 2 components, both accumulation, manipulation, distribution, as well as the OHLC, right? The open, the high, the low, the close. So when you start, or you put a horizontal line at 6 p.m. and then another horizontal line at 9 p.m. and another horizontal line at midnight, but then go back and put a vertical line on the 6 o'clock, on the 9 o'clock, on the midnight, and you continue that progress, what you find is these 90-minute cycles that are so commonly referred to within the market, that were even talked about today, they're part of that hour and a half that is 50% of a 3-hour cycle, right? And then those 3-hour cycles are 50% of a 6-hour cycle. And then your 6-hour cycle is 50% of your 12-hour cycle. So anyway, That's pretty much how it works. From trying to dissect time from its fractal nature, as well as time and price both being fractal, right? Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does. And also, if we're following the theory that we're already in the stage of, because we already finished April, we're in accumulation phase of the neck of distribution for the yearly.
So with it being fractal, it's hard to say that. I mean, you're absolutely right. You can frame it in a lot of different ways, but like if we were to be looking at 270 trading days roughly, and 90 days for accumulation, 90 days for manipulation, and then 90 days for distribution, then we would look at how many days we've gone through so far this year within the first few months. And I think I think we're in the yearly manipulation phase right now. But we'll see. I mean, it's pretty wild right now. These cycles, how they work. I think it's a lot easier to see after the fact sometimes. Because I mean, I could see prices going up and I can see prices going down. So having both biases, keep it flexible for making money.
Well, you guys, listen, if you're out there and if you can like expand on what I just said or what I shown or tweeted or whatever, like hit me up, because I don't mind like discussing this with anybody.
No, it's good. This is really good.
The more heads, the better.
Yeah, when you're trying to unlock things within the market, I couldn't agree with you more. The more collaborative you are within trying to put together puzzle pieces, it really does matter. It really, really, really does matter. So I couldn't agree more. Hopefully your DMs are open. Feel free to jump in mine. I'll try and help. Having a little hive of folks coming together, it's kind of a thing. It's kind of cool. I know I've done it on my journey here on Twitter. So being open to it, I think, is nice. Right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
The fractal nature.
So many people have helped me along the way.
Really?
When I didn't understand something, I would ask and they would help. And so I'll do the same. Like if somebody, or if someone's in the comments and they ask a question that I already know the answer to, I'll more than happy to help.
That's awesome.
I don't know everything though, but if I know it, I'll tell you.
No, it's good. And I'll say this, it's good to, as a student, it's good to try and help other people by, helping reinforce your own understanding. Teaching what you understand helps you become a better trader.
For sure. Well, thank you for letting me speak and give you my theory.
Nice. I like it. Thank you very much, Norma, for being here. Hands up with NZT. NZT, what's up, buddy? Maybe you don't realize your hand is up, but it is.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I was, brother.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I just like listening. Okay, what I want to add to, I remember ICT several times talking about that trading view when you going back like to play button, right? If you have a paid version, and it doesn't give you the right the right view of the market, because it's only shown when it's open candle and then right away close candle. It doesn't show that manipulation during the time of the candle charting, like a printing. And even if I have this paid version of TradingView, it still has an issue. And recently I discovered that another charting program is Ninja Trader. And actually you can download it for free. And also you can do that, and it's actually showing the whole manipulation of the market altogether. So actually I traded yesterday. When its market was closed, I downloaded the days and I start trading it like a real market in the same exactly as a market behaves. Like I tried 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, minutes, whatever. I check my system. So if somebody needs to check their back tests and everything, Ninja Trader with like it's you can download it for free. And actually, you need to download older version, not I don't know about new version. When Traderweight is bought it changed something. But previous version of Ninja Trader, you can still download from their website. It has this free, what can I say, is market replay. And it's like absolutely identical what you are seeing in the market. And this is just amazing. You can buy contracts there. It'll show you. It's everything real. Everything like real. So that's what will save you. It's for me. It's even better than demo accounts. Way better because you can speed up and see what the result is. You see all these fair value gaps. I mean everything. It is for if somebody it helps. It's just my 2 cents too. So.
Right on, buddy. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. What's your first name again, bro? Dimitri. We've had Norma and Dimitri. I love it. I've got Tanya MB here. Rod. I threw a speaker tag at you, buddy. I don't know if you're there or not. We are live on YouTube. That just means it's being recorded. I think it might sound better here. Still running things freestyle, but yeah, it's just a talking logo, but you can go back and hear it. It'll be recorded. It's on the YouTube is verse. So check it out, Trader Roundup, as well as ICT Concepts Explained. Tanya, how's it going? Probably saying the name wrong. Tanja, I'm sure I'm crushing it. I'm sure. Developing Trader MB, Trader MB. Yeah, I mean, guys, go ahead and laugh. I got it.
How we doing, bro?
I'm pretty good until I'm destroying other people's names. Probably lightweight insulting them without trying.
No, she's just probably shy. It's fine. Happens.
So how you doing, mate? Did you listen to ICT? Did you listen to the Shotgun Saturday?
I didn't, sadly. I was a bit occupied, but I'm probably gonna go listen to it after this. I just came just to check this out because I've always been in not the comments, but always been a listener to these things. Never really spoken. Just wanted to just see what was up there.
Well, okay. Well, tell me more about yourself then, buddy.
I've been trading for, before that, came into the Twitter space, around 2021, just around the peak of, the first peak of Bitcoin, before the summer mini bear market at 30K. I used to play a bit of shit coins now and then, lost a bit, put it all into spot. But then, I don't know, I think this happens to a lot of people when they start out. It's just, they really want to understand the nitty-gritty details of what goes on behind the scenes of markets and how the dynamics work and how price delivers. And that's what sent me down the trading rabbit hole. I've heard of ICT, but I never really paid much attention until recently. And then that's when, obviously, I found about his Twitter account and the community as a whole. And that's just a brief short story anyway.
Okay. Nice. So you've recently encountered ICT. How were you trading before? You said you were doing crypto.
Yeah.
What were you looking at? I mean, I'm a fair value gap and a fib guy. That's pretty much every day, all day. I can't not see a chart without a fib or.
Mm-hmm. I hear it. I don't think a lot of people are aware of who he is. This guy called VP, no-nonsense Forex. He was an indicator trader. No disrespect to him. He's obviously one of the few guys that kind of hyped it up for me and was like, really hyped up trading for me and got me into the game in the first place.
Okay.
So no disrespect to the guy. Obviously, his methodology didn't work out for me. He's still on Twitter. I still follow him because I listen to his investing podcast because he's got one.
Nice.
But yeah, that's where I started. He did mention ICT once a couple times. He gave him a shout out on his channel, a mini shout out, and he was like, either you trade like me or you trade like him. So I kind of it didn't work out with his methodology. I was like, you know what? Why not?
Well, you broke up with your ex, and you're happy with your ICT relationship.
I must say, funnily enough, before I even knew about ICT, I follow a couple of. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know this guy in the space. Trader SZ. He was before he developed his range trading concept. He was also one of his ICT students. Because if you go back look through his YouTube channel, he used to trade breakers, pretty much the exact same way. So it's quite odd how it all comes around full circle in the end. Lots of people I used to look up to end up developing in their own way from one man and his own concepts.
I mean, it's real powerful, isn't it? I mean, it's real powerful, in my opinion. I mean, I'm an ICT-based trader. It's algorithmic principles, but it's got my own little, splash of PO3, cooked in with some DR on top. I just think everyone kind of learns and sees things kind of in their own way. So
Pretty much.
So where are you from, mate?
UK.
Right on.
In London. I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody here would have been able to tell from my accent.
Well, yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah, what about yourself?
Living in Ohio, the chemical spill, land of the free. So yeah, not far from where the chemical spill was, actually, that no one talked about.
In East Palestine.
Yeah. Lots of waterways there, a lot of tributaries, and I used to. I mean, I say used to because I'm not doing it anymore, but I spent quite a bit of time in a kayak with my daughter on those waterways, pretty much all of them. So I'm extra bummed out. It's literally took what were weekends away from me. So
you gotta find something else of that for you.
No, I mean, we still bike. I say we still bike. So rail trails are a thing. So yeah, those are in the United States. They're like kept up like a park service, but it's just like a little asphalt road for bikes. There's no cars. So it's like in kind of woods and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
We have something similar.
Nice.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
I actually think Jade Cap and I are going to try and go on a little 100 mile bike ride.
Oh, Jade Cap. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think we want to do somewhere up near New York. I mean, I bike on Ohio's rail trails, but
right.
I think it'd be fun. I think it would be. I think that's the goal.
I mean, if you enjoy it, that's what matters.
Biking is a good time, man. To me, biking's a good time. I like getting out, pushing the limits a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, it can hurt, but it's still good. I like it.
I like it.
So right on, MB. Thanks for coming on.
No worries. I'll see you around.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. So we'll try again. TANJA Trades. Because we both know I'm afraid of saying it wrong. Dipped. Billy Sellex, what's going on with you, mate?
Yo.
Another plug on the spaces I see.
Yeah.
And what a great one it was.
Yeah, it was. What was your take from it, mate? What did you get?
It made me reflect on what I've actually achieved. And I think that I've got 9, nearly 10 executable setups from this. Learned obviously loads and loads and loads. And taught by you the importance of at least 80% of my time in demo rather than on live. And just nothing but appreciation from him and you, to be fair.
Nice. Do you feel, I mean, your win rate with live goes increasingly higher when you get a couple reps in on demo first, right? Or in some micro lots.
Yeah, it's changed me dramatically. And also it's made me realise that I'm only taking A+ setups rather than being always involved with questionable trades, should I say. More so the fact that I felt the need to have to press the button when I don't need to.
I want to build on what you said right there. I see Brandon's here. Like an A+ setup for me, right? Like I want to watch Asia take off. I want to just see Asia go through the roof. I want to see London consolidate. I want to see New York open, and I want to see New York go through the roof, right? Big balls, boom, let's bing, just goes. Why? Because those are filters and conditions that when 10:30 on the dot, an hour after New York's been in this bullish run after Asia brought it up, that 10:33 order block forms. And I short that bitch to the 4 o'clock price. To tell you that I only need that based on filters and conditions. Just like, and I say that because I'm looking at Brandon right now because like core content month 8 is full of filters. You're looking for an environmental condition to operate in. And one of the best things I think that ICT teaches, and again, I'm looking at Brandon as I'm saying this because it's like the very first time I met Brandon. And I know he's a London-based trader, and I know why he's a London-based trader with his life and his lifestyle and everything else. But like your A+ setups, you're gonna define the filters in the environment in which it's around. And then price is going to print right as you think it is, and it's going to do exactly what you thought it was going to do. That's your A+ setup, is when you stare at something, you're like, oh, shit. I fucking know where this bitch is going today. You don't need to know where it goes every day. You don't. I mean, you got a master cycle from 4:30 to 10:30. 4:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. That's a big standard deviation move, multiple standard deviation move, depending on what you're measuring, 4 to 6, right? Typically. I like 4 SDs. I like 2. I like 6. Depends on what you're measuring. But
my favorite day when it's a 6. My favorite day.
I mean, I just want to reiterate, you don't even have to be trying to predict where the market's going to go in a consolidated range over the weekend. If it's at 50% of its long term, like it's not making it easy for you to see on purpose, because that's part of what it's doing. You don't need to have a read on the market every single day all the time. But there are going to be moments and there are going to be times where you're like, oh my God, at 10:33, this bitch is going to it's going to rain. It's going to rain onto my 4 o'clock price. And that's a setup. It's a 10-4 setup. I call it 10-4. I teach it to folks. I'm teaching on Twitter, Trader Roundup. We're teaching the 7:30 a.m. model, which is the one shot, one kill. That's New York's last chance OTE of the 1:30 range, the 2 o'clock, that midnight to 3 o'clock cycle, that the 50%'s at 1 and 1:30. So that range you want is after you hit 50% of the time. Similarly, 6 to 7:30, 6 to 9, that's why we go on the 7:30 candle. It's an hour and a half in. And that's where that fractal is where the one shot, one kill leads from that price range. So it's very, very specific to time and price. ICT has laid this out very clearly. It took me a long time to figure it out by myself, just to hear him reiterate it in the mentorship this year. It's beautiful.
Can you hear me now, Kit?
Sure can. Nice to have. Can you please tell me how to pronounce your name?
It's Tanya.
I'm right, Tanya. Good. I had some traders giving me that laughy emoji face, and I'm just like, I know those motherfuckers are laughing at me, not with me over here.
Yeah, so you're cultured. Good job. Yeah, it's a Croatian spelling.
Yeah, no, I love it. I thought it was Tanya, but you don't know, and I'm,
Yeah. I just wanted to add on what you said about how one of the most powerful things that ICT teaches us is when to stay out of a trade and when to stay out of a session. Because, this is my 4th year now trading. And I've been learning ICT maybe a year and a half before I started with small cap stocks, moved on to options, did pretty well there.
How'd you like options? Because I'm really looking to lead an initiative of ICT plus options within the summer.
It can be super, super powerful, especially if you have such a strong, the one shot, one kill setup. If you go even SPX 0 days on that can be super powerful.
Yeah. The OTE 0 days of expiration, the more volatile the market, sometimes you get them far out of the money and you'd be shocked.
You're up 2,000%.
Yeah. Which on a little $200 trade without any margin, with the max that you could possibly lose is 200. That's a pretty good upside.
Exactly. So it's a good way to define your risk. Risk is premium paid, and you can just let it run, but only when you're if you strongly know what the draw liquidity is.
Draw liquidity and then time. I mean,
I and the gammas on all the Greeks,
No, but here's the thing. I can tell you I've simplified it, because just like I just said, that model, if you can capture certain conditions,
correct,
you're buying a certain time level's price, and that time, the 4 o'clock price, the 4:30 price will return. So the theta and the gamma and all of those things don't really matter if you know where it's going to go back to. The question is the speed. And typically with an options trade, you're looking at, and with me, you're looking at anywhere from a 30-minute to a 3-hour cycle, right? So you don't want to be in, or you want to be out of the market within a 3-hour cycle, typically. That's how I engage with options and ICT. So
do you do SPX 0 days?
I do futures equities. So literally, it's the ES and the MES and the NQ and the MNQ, and it's the exact same levels that you're calling on a chart, but the prices are on an options ladder, and then you're looking at your days of expiration. And ironically, the higher, the more volatile the scenario, then you're going to be getting these things inexpensively out of the money. And if you're correct with little risk, then you get that 4R, 5R, 6R, 7R trade off of a non-leveraged options trade. And you only need a few of those within a week. So the key is, the problem is it's intoxicating, because when you win, and you can just keep winning. But the point is you don't want to you want to know when enough is enough.
Right.
And
you don't want to engage too much, or else
and you don't need to. No, but you don't need to. The thing is you want to find your A+ setups. And A+ setups are going to be the environment, not just simply what you're saying. What the environment is stating. Like what defines A+ for that short is an aggressive day in Asia. Asia's range to midnight from 6 p.m. to midnight is through the fucking roof. It's 30 points. Asia range is 8 points a day. It's 30 points that day. London, which is typically 10, 16, 20 points within its range, is sitting there at 8 in a consolidated range. And then New York does the exact same thing and ranges 18, 20, 22 points from 9:30 straight to 10:30. What do? You take that short 27 points with a decent, because you know what's gonna. This is an A+ setup. I'm telling you, you need this trade twice in a month on the options chain, out of the money, and you will pay bills. It doesn't have to set up every day. It's not gonna, right? But your A+ setup is I don't want to pound it.
This reminds me, I've been back testing. This is one of the scenarios for the currency merchants ONS setup.
Oh, currency merchant is one of my favorite. I mean, I've talked to him about doing options. Him and I,
right.
Of doing options, because the currency merchant is his model and my model are very similar. He has the 5 to 9. I have a 4:30 to 10.
Right.
4:30 to 10:30.
You look at the extended hours trading open.
Yeah.
Typically Asia, and I've noticed, when London has not traded to that open at all, and I've done it on Forex Replay and back testing, just an aggressive short during New York after it takes that.
And I'll tell you this: if you want to just look at time cycles with price cycles, the 9 o'clock price is going to run into the 1 o'clock price. Okay. So at 9:30, just find out where the 1:30 price is. That's where it's going. Up or down, doesn't matter. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So 9:30 is going to run into the 1:30, 2 o'clock price. The 10, 11 o'clock is going to run into the 4 to 5 o'clock price. So take that for what it's worth. That's a lot of years, actually, that I'm able to tell that to you and break it down that simply. So if nothing else, this is what I teach my students in understanding time and price and high probability setups, right? So you could do that on charts, or you could do that in options. Options pay. Options pay.
Yes, they do, for sure.
Options pay. People want to talk about why are we here? We're here to make money. Then this community needs to talk about options. We need to have a little options group. And I'm here to lead the way, because in being interviewed by ICT, I brought receipts from trading his concepts within options. So the receipts that I've posted are not being a funded trader. That's Jade Cap, that's Paladin. That's what they've done. And they've done an amazing job at it. I've made my money in the market through hodling. I bought Tesla over a decade ago. That made a lot of money for me. I bought HSBC and Kroger, which weren't so hot, but they were okay. Santander, I had a good buddy of mine that said buy banks, and Tesla. We bought Tesla. So being in the markets for 15 years, I was an early buyer of Tesla, which got lucky, did all right. Then I did options, and I made some money in options, and I turned around and lost a lot of money too. And not having the proper risk management will have you burn through not one wife, but 2 wives pretty quick. I promise you. So, I mean, you laugh. It's my former lives / former wives of winning and losing and creating and evaporating wealth cyclically within trading. So.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Options. When I first started it, I've definitely lost a lot of money at some point, and then regained it back using just getting lucky, or also just I witnessed that whole GameStop squeeze.
Oh yeah, I was all in that. I was for sure.
That was
Reek.
Oh my god, that was one of the craziest days of my life for sure. When that night specifically, when Elon Musk just like tweeted GameStop at like 4:10 p.m. after close, and I had swung GameStop weeklies overnight. I was like, oh,
you're up 1,500%, and like, what's going on? No, you're up like 5,000%, right? You end up cashing out in the morning at 1,500, but at some point you're up over 5,000.
It was not even possible to close out.
No.
Like
well, that's the problem with futures options, and getting back to that part piece, what to learn, that additional wealth stream, opening up a brokerage account within your name or within a business's name, a REIT or a real estate business is something you can use.
Right. Are those 24/7 or
equities options? Equities options are right.
Okay.
So,
and have you found them to be just as liquid?
I like them a lot. I like them a lot. I like the tax advantages, and having learned ICT, and the more you get better at your technical analysis on a chart, I think it is an applicable skill set onto the options chain. I just think it's less talked about within the community. So I believe trade management is a really, really important thing that not enough people talk about, because so many new folks come in and don't understand it. But advanced ICT is really understanding how to be in a winnable trade or a winning trade, and being able to maximize that win, right? Getting paid and understanding where and how to do that. And yes, there's TP1 and TP2, and that's it. But measuring your risk and having A+ setups means that you're leveraging more. You can leverage more with tighter stops and be right, and right fewer times and in the market fewer times, and make more.
Mm-hmm. Right. And if you get your entry at a better entry, you're increasing your R by that much as well.
Tight stop losses are key, and that's what the conversation needs to be. And I mean, I live stream with a 5-tick stop on ES. That's not made up. I call out the change in the state of delivery on a 10-second order block that's printing real time on my YouTube stream. So seeing and understanding order block theory and market structure and time and price, those are all weapons for all of us.
Are you just aggressively buying the close of the change of the state of delivery order block then?
It's not that it depends on what it is, because typically you're going to see a few of them form, and again, depending on the time frame that you're looking at, a 10-second chart is going to be different than a little higher time frame. But I mean, that 1033, 1042, sometimes it can be early, right? Sometimes it'll be 1013. Where and how Asia and London print, and where and how New York falls within that range, you can kind of figure or measure and calculate the type of measured move that it's going to take from a 10-something price to a 4-something price. And finding a 27-point move is not uncommon. It's a 27-point partition, which is high. That's a lot, don't get me wrong. But if you can get a 20-handle move that's properly leveraged, that's one time. That's it. You're waiting for those moves. That's the point. And then you're practicing the rest of the time. And you're practicing in demo, and you're catching your rhythm, and you're trying to find those filters and those moves. You're not putting real money on until it's an A+ setup, which means the environmental conditions are screaming at you, and then price does the same. The environment defines your A+, in my opinion.
Right. And to add to that, another concept I wanted to speak about is I'm reading this book. I don't know if you've read it. It's called The Mental Game of Trading by Jared Tendler. And he talks about... Have you read it?
No, I have not.
Okay, so I really like it because he talks about how he's a poker coach and a trading coach, which I find is interesting because that all these like correlations that I've seen between the two recently, and ICT mentioning all this poker metaphors. But anyway, he talks about how you have your A game, your B game, and your C game. Everyone has this range that they can perform on. So your A game is when you're at your highest level, you're trading clearly, you're taking your partials and you're taking your trade to full target, for example. Everything, you're just on the top of your game. Your B game is like when you're making marginal errors. And then your C game is like when you're at the worst of your game, the tail end, where you can make emotional errors, revenge trading, etc. So I wanted to talk about this concept that he speaks about in the book, because not only are we trying to improve our A game, increasing our range, like taking the highest R trades, taking the highest setups, but also we're trying to reduce our C game range. So then we stay out of the worst probability. Sure, I'll tweet the book after, so that we're reducing, our losses basically. And in that, you're helping your P&L curve so much because you're staying out of the low probability sessions. You're noticing when you're starting to get, tense, your emotions are flaring, you're starting to feel tilt. And it's really important to just notice these things happening at their early levels, so then you can control them up to that point before they run out of control, and you end up risking more, you blow an account or something like that. So yeah, I just wanted to share more about that because, like I've said before, is ICT's helped me the most by knowing when to stay out of the market, because then I'm reducing my drawdown and I have a smoother P&L curve in the end.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to tweet the title and author.
Yeah.
To that person under the...
I'm sorry to interrupt, but can you clarify for me, because I was in the options, and when I find the futures, I didn't know the future exists. I always work on SPY future options. So now, because I'm in futures, can you clarify for me what is better, options on a SPY or the futures on index like ES?
I like futures options personally. SPY has a different tax implication, and there are different rules for it here. The futures options, ES and MES, are very, very reasonable. And I mean, I've had that account set up for a long time. So it's just the same way that you're longing or shorting. You want to project where price is going. If you know that price is going to go to a certain level at a certain time, then you're buying a call or a put based on that. And that'll have a cost. If it's the ES or the MES, the cost will be less, the gain will be less. But if you're spending $100, $200, $250 for an out of the money same day contract, then it has that opportunity of becoming in the money. So there's a lot of different ways to go about doing it. And I mean, I can explain it here. It's easiest for folks if they, trade options with me, understand it. But yeah, certain times of day, certain days of the week, you're looking for a move. That's it. You want to be out within 30 minutes, 3 hours. That's it. It's your move. That's it for the day. You can take multiple moves, but it's best to stay limited, stay disciplined, and even minimize that. So self-restraint is very important with options. The good news is ICT, like I said, ICT does nothing but teach restraint, self-restraint, discipline, self-discipline. Less is more. I think folks understanding that, it's a big deal. So we went in 4 minutes. We're going to listen to a few more minutes of ICT right here. For me, it's therapeutic, and it recalibrates the conversation. So,
how you should be taught. So you already have in your mind what it is that this educator should or should not do. And then if it doesn't meet that expectation that you have, admittedly, you have to admit that you're coming to that person in a state of ignorance. You have no idea what you're supposed to be doing, but you're holding on to this idea that you know how you should be taught. When you don't know the subject matter, you're the student. You're not even the student yet. You're just coming there with a spirit of expectation. And some of you come with a spirit of entitlement, thinking that it's owed to you faster, like somehow that you're supposed to be ushered to the front of the line ahead of everyone else that's been working very hard, diligently to try to learn the skill set. And sometimes because of either cultural barriers or language barriers, I may not be able to properly articulate what it is that is necessary for you to understand something. In that regard, that's what makes me not a good mentor. Okay, and that's why I say I'm not the best mentor. But the things I'm teaching, I often pray that I find a way to get that message that I'm trying to talk about to and through all of you. And this isn't probably the best medium to do it, because you're only going to hear me in my native tongue, which is English. And sometimes it's not that good. Sometimes I talk in words that aren't all that refined. And sometimes I use colorful words that I'm not proud of, but I'm trying to do my best. Most times, like I am today, I'm trying to be very balanced, because this is a topic that in my mind needs to be reminded constantly throughout your progress. And because there's a new influx of new students coming to me all the time, it's important for you to come in with the right mindset and not lose sight of what you came here for. You should be here for one reason only: to learn how to make money. That's it. If a secondary supporting reason is that you want to be amongst other people that are doing what you're doing and see their growth, see their concerns, see the barriers, the speed bumps that they have to go through. So that way it reminds you that it's not just you that's going through it. It's everyone goes through the same. I went through it. And most, like everything else I've ever taught, there's going to be this point in which when you're listening to me or watching me do executions or talking about what the market's going to do, you'll have selective hearing, because you're coming to me with your preconceived notions about what it is that you need. So you think you need to know this or that, and then you'll be understanding better when you're sitting down in front of the charts live. And that is an illusion. I felt that way as a young man. I felt that, all I had to do was read a few books and I'd figure it out. Not knowing that I was going to be a huge barrier, like you are, and like everybody else that does this. That 7-pound universe that's in between your ears, that brain, has a wonderful, ability to present distractions or reasons not to do certain things or follow rules.
Ooh. That mental, I'd like to focus on that, the mind, that mental piece that he said there at the end. Like, we bring so many preconceived notions too, right? I find that fascinating. And then what's worse, I'll say what's been toxic for me in my life is other people's preconceived notions on me and how I need to perform. Because even if you're successful, you're not successful enough. Or even if you're a failure or you haven't succeeded yet, it's when what is that watermark? Where is that? Like how are you applying ICT? Are you better today than you were? That to me is fascinating. Wolf, are you there, my friend?
Hey, Kit, I'm here.
Hey, all you did was change your logo. Okay.
Yep. I tried to chime in, but I was busy doing something, and then the conversation just took off.
Yeah, that happens. That happens around these parts.
I've just been waiting for the opportunity to jump in and let you know. Yep, I just changed up my profile pic. Used to be my Siberian Husky's eyes, and I just saw this graphic of.
I like that. That's got like a real Zen.
It looks a little more professional.
Yeah, Zen and professional both at the same time.
And I slapped my fib circles in the background of the graphic.
Do you use many fib circles?
I do. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Was like what I've been learning I've been experimenting with time series fibs and pairing that with ratios or like.
What ratios are you using? The 4.665?
Yeah.
Nice.
And the ICT fib ratios.
Yeah, I mean those projections are phenomenal. It's just pretty much 4 standard deviations, right? So.
Yep. So I've been playing around with that, but putting the time series fibs on is really been blowing my mind.
Dude, I'd love to. I don't trade with. I mean, I say that I do trade with time fibs when I trade on a 30-second chart, or if I'm specifically trying to trade a 90-minute cycle. But
well, the way I've been slapping them on, it's there's the horizontal line is the projections, and then the time series is vertical, and hitting the vertical line is hitting on my charts at like either like the beginning part of every like major move, or it goes from the major move to that next line.
I mean, time fibs, you can just put 1, 2, 3, and 4 on there, and you'd be shocked at how well it hits.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's like there's like 3 or 4 lines, and it's so accurate. And then with all the other information of like not to rehash what the whole conversation has been about, but like mapping out the Asian session, the London session, and then the New York sessions. Key, open.
I mean, what I try.
Just it like you've always talked about. I've seen it in 3D, and it's like I'm going. I know where it's been, and I know where it's going next, and I know where it's going after that. It's like I'm not even like to the point where I'm live trading. I'm still like paper trading.
Yeah, dude, that's fine. You're learning.
Mentally trading, just keeping it upload notes, but. Yeah, but you were talking about psychology too. I mean, I've been MIA for the last couple of weeks. I've been going through some serious emotional drawdown, just one hit after another.
Oh yeah.
And just in life.
So you want to talk about that?
I can touch it a little bit on it. It's just the life, what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do. I get it. It's one kick in the dick after the next. I mean,
yeah, it's like I was on track with my fitness goals, and then my personal trainer that I've been working with for about a month. He's a younger guy in his 30s, young husband and young father with another kid on the way. And this was like a side gig that he just did for the head trainer my gym, specifically just work with me. And we were working out for a month, and like I was getting to my goals and feeling great. And I mean, going to the gym is the best when you're doing training. It's like you've had a rough day on the charts, whatever.
I agree.
Take it out of the gym. And then his main job is he works for the county he lives in construction and stuff, doing the construction and just the work for the county, digging out drainage ditches and stuff like that. And with the weather change, his foreman was like, we're switching to nighttime, and that's when, evenings was when he and I would get together. So he pretty much like dropped me, and then he had another baby on the way at the beginning of this month. So he was like, dude, I'm like totally, swamped. It's like with my work and with the new baby, which I mean, we were planning for the new baby, but I thought I was going to have till, the middle of this month, and only had like from last month till part of the beginning of this month. So that just like threw me off my game. And then it was, I forget, it was two or three other things happened, one thing after another. And I was down, really down in depression and stuff, and trying to drag myself out of the dark hole the last couple of weeks. And just kind of spiraled out of control. I mean, I'm proud of myself. I kept up with my charts and my studies and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just.
So.
Oh, that was just the price action. Was another thing that got in my head.
It was making you mad? Just curious.
It was not making me mad. It was taxing to watch ES in the New York session do like nothing for like a couple weeks in a row, and it was just like it was throwing me off in my price reading and price action reading and paper reading and stuff. So it was like I couldn't see. I had no idea what it was doing, and then it was like a couple weeks into that, ICT's like, yeah, this is really rough, this is really bad.
Yeah, no, I mean,
he's like, you might want to, go on vacation like me, and I'm like, gee, thanks. And it's like, he says it after he comes back from vacation.
No, but I mean, the price action has been pretty wild in the ES. Yeah. I mean, like, I boycotted ES for a few days, went over to NQ, but even still.
I haven't really had any experience with NQ other than like using it as a like
barometer, relative strength. I got you.
Yeah, it's the Six Sister concept that you introduced and stuff like that. So, but not even like again going full on like his concept with the Six Sister is if this one and this one is, if these are weak or this one's weak, switch to that one. And that's something I learned. Over the last couple of weeks when I saw him switch to the NQ. So again, that's another thing that I'll be following up on and learning. But yeah, it's just a rough, probably like 2 or 3 weeks.
How I mean, I can relate when you say depression. I can relate to that. How do you best deal with that? Like personally, do you do any form of self-sabotage?
Oh my gosh! Well, my thing is, I have sleep apnea, so I have to keep a really tight sleep schedule. And when I start to get depressed, I start getting the efforts, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna stay up late and I'm gonna sleep all morning and all afternoon. Well, that takes you out of the monitoring and watching the morning session and maybe even the afternoon session with how I was sometimes, and then it messes up your circadian rhythm and you end up staying up later. And like case in point, I'm almost been up for 24 hours.
So not sleeping, definitely. I can relate to this too.
And just
it winds you up even more.
Your mind won't shut up, and I take supplements and sleep aids, and those weren't even, I was so chemically out of balance.
No, I understand that. How even in depression, how is physical activity? I mean, because I can say sometimes I shut down, and when I'm depressed, I self-sabotage. I kind of go against everything that's.
Trainer dropped me. I pushed myself for the first week and thought, oh, this isn't going to be so bad. I'm gonna turn around from this pretty quickly. And then it was like less and less each consecutive week working out, to the point where I haven't worked out for about a week or two. Which, again, everything plays into everything else. So
No, dude, I get it. No, I can relate. I can.
I went probably on 1 7-mile bike ride in those last couple of weeks, where usually I would get in like a couple a week.
Yeah.
7 miles.
I was gonna ask, how are you with biking, bro? Do you like biking?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, biking is the shit.
My legs to pedal, but I have a hand cranking.
Oh, word?
A trike, basically.
Oh, right on.
Hand cycle. So I got that. And since I've been doing that since like 2017.
Wow, dude.
I started out with just like not being able to go hardly anywhere, and I was just like out of breath and couldn't do it, and just gradually started working up, and now I go for 7 miles at a time. It takes me about an hour and a half, depending on my speed.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I think bikes are therapeutic. This time of year is great. I mean, I'm going to get on a bike later today and or tomorrow.
Here in New Jersey, we've been having like rainy season.
Yeah, no, it's unusually cold here. It's unusually cold here.
Cold and rainy.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I got you. Do you have any free weights at the house? Like 25 pounders or some kettles?
I have a whole set of resistance bands that goes up to like 100 and some pounds.
I mean, like, I'll just tell you, like,
I've been working out with those.
yeah, I like calisthenics because you can kind of take the excuse out of wanting to go to a gym or not, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And I mean, it's probably a little bit more old school, but I like that.
It does the job, man.
Yeah, I like that.
If you're in the right headspace to push yourself.
No. That's always the issue, right? That's always the issue, and trying to find or I mean, I would say like one of the things that I do specifically is I have like a checklist of how many, sets of reps I want to do. I mean,
yeah, I have my whole workout. Like you said, I do the same, like with checklist. It has down the reps and the weights and everything. I have it on my phone.
I mean, another fun way to do it to randomize it and not make it feel like a job is just take a deck of cards. I mean,
that's a cool idea.
Take a deck of cards and whatever you're doing, if it's curls, if it's shoulder press, if it's, dips, pull-ups, push-ups, whatever. I mean, whatever it is you're doing, that's the type of stuff I typically do.
What do you mean by the deck of cards?
So like if I just turn over a 2, I'm going to do 2 reps of whatever it is. So, and then if it's a face card, if it's 10, or a face card is 10. So I'm going to have to do 10 push-ups or 10 pull-ups or 10 dips or 10 reps of whatever I'm doing. It could be shoulders, could be arms, could be, I mean, I could be doing squats, I could be doing a lot of different things. Like for you, Tanya, I would say females, it's really important that you strengthen, like your core and your legs, right? Like just, you think of you being like a triangle and men are kind of like an upside down triangle, right? Like,
yeah, I was
just
gonna say, I don't think I can do one pull-up.
no, you wouldn't have to you wouldn't have to focus so much on pull-ups as you would be doing squats. And the
Yeah.
legs, most of your body mass is going to be in the lower part of your body. So
Yeah.
that those are the muscles.
The funny thing is, like, I have a lot of work to do with that. I tore my ACL in November of this year playing volleyball.
That's brutal.
So I had surgery end of December. I'm like 5 months out, but basically been doing PT like twice a week for the past 4 months. But I still have some complications. Like, my IT band is super tight, so it's like just preventing me from having enough quad control to go down the stairs properly. Like, I have to do it like one by one. So it kind of sucks. I actually ran out of PT sessions with my insurance, so now I'm going to do a bridge program with a personal trainer.
That's a great idea, actually. I mean, for what it's worth.
Yeah, they referred me out. It's like the same company, but that's a major issue I've had too, is just getting myself to do these exercises at home or going to my local gym too, because it's just it's it's a chore for me. I get that pump, but that you got, the gym bros always talk about is like, after the gym I feel great, but it's really the moments leading up to it, or where I can find almost any excuse, like it's raining right now,
which is why I prefer calisthenics at the end of the day. I think you want to minimize or limit the friction there is to get into that routine or habit. So, like, even doing squats or having some sort of weight that you can just kind of hold and you can make yourself do 100, or like I said, you do a deck of cards, or you go against the clock, right? Like, how many can you do in a minute? And then you give yourself 2 minutes break. And then how many can you do in another minute? And you just kind of track where you keep mental score. But little games like that of your body weight and repetition, for females, I recommend a lot of squatting and focusing on your core. Because for men as well, that's where most of our body mass technically is, right? But men typically like to work their back and their shoulders and their arms a little more. And again, that kind of triangle, that upside down kind of triangle, kind of fit. So I highly recommend and encourage calisthenics. So
the only thing I know what calisthenics are is push-ups. So, like, what are those other exercises?
Well, I mean, calisthenics can be a lot of different things. They can be sit-ups. You could be doing a plank. You could be doing a squat, an air squat, which is just like kind of sitting down.
Right, like a box squat.
Yeah, like a box squat, exactly. You can get a box squat with some weights. It's kind of like what you do with Pilates or with yoga. Like, it's just a little bit. I mean, I think women have a ton of excellent kind of core toning kind of body, good for the body kind of thing, right? And as traders within the trader community, I recommend these things between trades. I recommend these things within your house, within, I mean, being able to be disciplined enough to do push-ups or pull-ups or sit-ups or a box squat, or force yourself into this chair position without sitting in a chair and let it burn. Do it for 3 minutes. Do 3 sets of 3. Can you get 10 minutes? And you're flaring all of your core, your quads, your rear, your abdominals. You're flexing and toning all of those simply by resistance training your own body weight and balance.
That's very interesting. So that's cool that you do it between trades.
Doing things like that between trades is a good way to, think of things like drawdown, and think of ways to step away from the chart and let your chart play out. Let your stop loss be your stop loss. And when you're in a trade, zooming out, going to a higher time frame, and getting used to trusting not only your stop loss, but then your trade and letting it play. And trade, sometimes it's just letting it ride, and other times there's trade management where you really want to be on it and you want to be trying to maximize your potential within that move. And I think there's ways in which people should practice and train their trade management, right? So
yeah, I think that's a great idea, like how ICT talks about shuffling a deck of cards.
yeah.
So you like do squats while looking at the screen still?
I try not to look at the screen. I mean, I try and yeah, because stops in place. I try and disengage for a few minutes, almost like the Pomodoro effect.
Yeah.
Right?
I do like to step away and like go across the room and watch the screen from there sometimes if I feel like, I'm
well, being glued to the screen is not always good either, right? Yeah. And I understand being engaged with price, like dialing into your flow state. I understand all of that, right? And I'm not saying not to do that. But there's going to be a time where your trades is going to need time to develop, right? It's just that simple. And being able to walk away knowing that it needs a few minutes to develop, and it's either going to develop your way or it's going to stop you out, one of the two. It's that's that simple. And being content with that, I think, is more traders like we're professional losers. It's what we do. Get good at losing. Get good at tight stop losses. Anyone that watches price with me, that's traded with me, understands you can be wrong, and you want to trade with a lot tighter stop. So there's days that are very improbable, and those are definitely demo days. And then there's days that are less likely. Those are demo days. But you're always training for a tight stop. And tightening up your stop and being wrong more often and still getting back up. 5 ticks went out, $62 trade. $62 trade idea. Boom. Didn't hit. Got crushed. Boom. Got hit again. Nope. And then the next one you hit, and it literally turns around and doesn't touch your stop loss at all. And before you know it, you got in at the bottom of a wick and you're up 13 ticks. And you don't really ever drop back down. And then you're just building into that position. But that's a way to trade, right? And anyone who trades with me can say for sure, yeah, that's how Kit trades. And that's what I want people to understand the importance is within the levels of this. You can lose less or you can lose more with a tighter stop loss because you can still manage a higher reward. And that works the same with options. If you have a tight stop and you're not risking a ton, you can be wrong more. Because actually, go ahead.
Most traders who, how most of them are losers. Most traders have a 70% win rate, but their RR is negative, not on a positive long-term trajectory.
Well, the strike rate, the win rate, there's a lot of different metrics out there. And talking to Jade and a lot of different funded traders, it's actually fascinating to see and hear the different metrics that really matter. And I can tell you, becoming a professional loser is very important. Very important. Be okay with losing. And learn how not to risk so much. You're putting too much on having to be right. It's okay to be wrong. Be wrong quick, and that's okay. Be done. But continue to watch. And you should be in demo 80% of your life, period. You're an athlete. You're a professional. Professionals practice, and you need metrics in that practice. The more metrics you have in your own practice, in your own demo, forward testing, Backtesting is your first year, second year. You're learning. You're acquiring models. But then I'm talking to a lot of you guys. I already know for a fact I'm staring at Boss Lady. She's not worried about backtesting, even though I'm sure she still does. She's forward testing. She's reading price and forward testing a model, seeing where and how the new things that she's learning is going to apply over real-time data. And that takes time too. So you need to practice that. You need to get in rhythms. And just like the market has like this kind of pulse and this vibration, you want to be able to read that and ride that. And there's going to be days and times, as Wolf was saying, that shit's hard and it's irritating. Those are days to step away, to try and focus on yourself. Sharpen your own sword. Engaging with I mean, I love calling price. None of it's been worth a damn. It's gonna move, but it's not fun. I mean, this is not fun price action to be involved in. Trading a barcode.
Yeah, when ICT gives you the framework of 5 handles and it's using 3 or 4 handles, it's like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Well, you either step away or you take. I mean, you frame up your. I mean, you don't. I mean,
you can scalp it.
Yeah, you can scalp. I mean, consolidated ranges. They're their own form of trade and trade plan, but I go back to focusing on your model. And ICT's given several time-based models. So there's multiple models within a day that's been given this year. And it's finding a time that works for you and practicing that model. Is it the power hour?
Oh, speaking of models, Kit.
Yeah.
I know you'll be able to tell me like chapter and verse. I wanted to know more and study more on his the unicorn. Has he like gone in depth in that?
I mean, the unicorn is a breaker embedded, nestled in a fair value gap. And when you see that breaker, and that breaker typically has a delivery to one side only, and it's going to be the same side as the fair value gap is expanding towards, right? So the fair value gap with the breaker, we'll say in this regard that it's expanding upward. You want to see that breaker form, and you want to see your retracement, and you want to see it come back to that breaker as origin, and then you want to see it expand up to and through that with a fair value gap. And when that happens, that's a launch pad. It's going to take off. But because there's flat delivery, there's no sell side there within a fair value gap, then you can also be reassured that it will be terminus for price to be redelivered back to. So the unicorn, why it's so unique is you can get in on the upside, you can get in on the downside because it's going to come back. He draws our attention to the unicorn, to that flat candle, flat bottom candle, right? That I call that a repricing candle, because if you see those flat delivery candles on a high time frame, there's a very good chance or likelihood that price is going to come back to it. And when you look for order blocks and order block theory,
a couple of the ones that the previous unicorn setups, and was experimenting with trying to anticipate the long and then anticipate to go short. The other, like, you know how it goes up. It was like, well, it's like a unicorn horn. It goes up, makes a point, and then comes back down the other way. And I was playing around with that, and it was, I mean, again, it was hindsight, it was paper trading, so I knew where it was going to go to and where it was going to stop and, you know, turn around. But, you know, it's just really interesting.
Well, the breaker model is different. The breaker model is different. The stop loss, where you put it, that range that is affected. I mean, breaker blocks as a trade plan are amazing. And if you can really read it, if you can really read a breaker block, then you can it's a predefined area where you can set your stop loss and where price is going to come back, retrace to, but be absorbed within. and then typically take off. If it's, and you're banking on it being a good order block, and these larger ones, they typically are. So price is going to absorb into it, and then, you know, sometimes it'll break through and the order block fails. But if you're trading order blocks, that's you're going to have a measured win rate on that, right?
Yeah,
so
I love the freedom and the option to go long, go short, or, you know, if you're really nimble, to do both in the moves that it does. But I'm more focusing too on trying to go one way or the other, because that's something I think that ICT had mentioned, is just focusing on going one way. You know, whether you're,
well, it's hard to say. I'll just say this: it's hard to, if you're focused on being a time-based trader.
yeah.
Then a time-based trader is not just going one way. It's not going even the draw. The draw on liquidity could be a previous day's high below you, and that could mean that it's going to be a bear setup.
Yeah, and I know by the time series fibs, it's like, okay, it's run its course for the long side. Now it's going to deliver to the short side.
I'll just say this. I'll let you guys know, if you're listening, all the money I've made in the option team has been all shorts. All of it. Every single dime I've made has been shorts. I mean, there's some calls too, don't get me wrong. But shorts.
I mean, the shorts move a lot faster.
They're way better in options.
So we want the speed.
Yeah, that's yeah.
The mentor said today, right, that you're always gonna have a short every single day. So one way or another, the short's gonna come. He said that today.
I am boss lady just said I short more than how I buy, and I was talking about the other day. Shorts pay, and you can be in the market a lot less and be a lot more surgical and make, in my opinion, make a lot more. It's also going to depend on the day, right? It's ultimately the draw on liquidity, but I mean, unless you're catching a turtle soup, which turtle soups are nice, and that is a model. But turtle soups and shorts, it's kind of the same thing, right? Like, I know they're different, but you can turtle soup short just like you can long. I guess I like in options trading. I do trade turtle soup. I can trade turtle soup to longs or shorts, and trading turtle soups and options is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The violent reaction in the other direction in a very short burst or period of time. And you get that. I mean, again, there's certain filters that, I mean, they're undefeated. That's, you get a very, very good, very high win rate, and price doesn't lie. So being able to see and read price and then just make money on it a different way than this is, there's nothing wrong with this way, but the options chain and ICT is a thing. I want the community to know it's a thing. Crypto, Jonathan, brother.
My brother, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing on a Saturday?
I'm doing good, feeling blessed. I took a long on ES right before the explosion, and it was a demo trade, but I could have sworn I put a 10 lot on it. It was 100 lots, and when I came back and looked at it, I was up $243,000. But I wish it would have been real money. But guess what? Okay.
hey, but it still feels good, right?
Yeah, it felt good because I only went two handles in drawdown, and so I didn't really feel. I didn't feel no pressure. I looked at it for
two handles is only 8 pips, right?
Yeah.
If you're getting into trades with 8 pips, 10 pips or less, you're doing something right, mate.
No. I had my stop loss was set at 15 handles because I knew I was gonna hold this for a long. I was holding this long term. So
okay.
I already knew what was going on. I wasn't trying to close this before Friday. I only closed it before because I realized that I put the wrong contract size, right? So I'm like, okay, in reality, in real life, I wouldn't be able to afford this. So I would never be here. In real life, I would have probably lost the trade a long time ago because the account would have gone to zero, right? So I'm trying to trade the demo like it was my real money.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not no lie. Why am I gonna do 100 lot for if I can't afford that in real life? You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
So that's the only reason why I closed it or collapsed it or whatever the case may be. But I listened to the mentor this morning. It was pretty interesting everything he was saying. And then me and Daniela got on. I'm the boss. We got on the Discord thing, and we went like maybe 2 hours, and we were just going back and forth looking for silver bullets on ES on previous days, obviously, right? And so we were just training our eyes on that. And
what time frame are you looking at? Just curious when you do that.
Well, I start with the 1 hour, so it's easier to box out the area that we're looking for, and then I work my down to the 15, but we're looking at entries on the 5 minutes. So I don't know if that's the right way of doing it, but that's the way we.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
It hits.
I like all those time frames.
Every day, it doesn't hit every day, but like I was going back day by day, but I'm just looking at the hours that work for me. So like for example, that I believe is the 10 to 11. Works for Daniela, but doesn't work for me because 10 to 11 I'm driving the truck, so I can't stop.
Yeah, I got you.
Right. So I got it by law, like by my law at least. I have to do that at what is the 3 to 4, and then that 2 to 3 shift. Those are the two that I need to be looking at. But they mostly hit. So I was just gonna put that out there, you know. Just watching charts more and more is definitely opening up my eye to certain things. You know, it's becoming easier to chart, easier to find fair value gaps, easier to find liquidity. And then as you start finding all this stuff, I think trading starts to get more easier. Unfortunately, I see you when you're doing things, you're able to just visually see, oh, this is a fair value gap, this is that, and you still haven't put a fib on it, and you already know where certain things come. But I guess that all comes with time, right? Obviously, you're not gonna learn. You can learn that overnight yourself. So, I just see that little by little as I joined your space and being able to talk with Daniela more and more. I noticed that this can get you really far. You know what I mean? The way you're teaching us. So, appreciate you once again. Kudos to what you're doing out there and all that love that you're spreading, you know.
Rock on. Thank you very much. We're just trying to reinforce everything that the mentor is teaching with the same sense of urgency and price, because this don't cost nobody nothing.
I think the biggest urgency for everybody is that right now you feel like you'll be able to walk hand in hand with him because he's there. But come November, like he was saying, I think there's going to be a lot of people that, you know, I include myself. If you don't listen to all those videos, because all that shit could disappear, right? It's not, you know, YouTube can eliminate you from one day to another if they choose to, you know. They've done it with tons of people. You do just one wrong action or one wrong do, and they eliminate your videos, they eliminate your name, they eliminate you completely.